welcome back to Let's Create with Alex Flake. I'm your host, Alex Flake, and today I have the best guest in the entire world with me, except for Zach. I feel like I have to say that first. Zach is the best guest. And then a number two close second is my friend, the myth, not the myth, the legend, the myth.
It's the man,
the
myth,
myth, the legend.
The legend.
Preston Luke.
It's me.
Hi.
What an intro. What an intro. Yeah. First of all, I didn't ask you this. Is my volume okay?
Yeah, it is.
I just want to make sure everyone can hear me.
I mean, I think it is. Zach will fix it if it's not.
Okay, that's cool.
That's me with literally everything. I'm like, yeah, Zach will do it.
Zach will figure it out. Yeah, we trust in Zach. We trust. For the podcast over here.
He's gonna be rolling his eyes at that.
He will.
100%.
Well, what's up?
Hi, friend. It feels weird. Like, I feel like, so for those of you guys who don't know, me and Preston are like regular friends, not just like I'm interviewing on a podcast friend, you know? And so it's like weird to not just FaceTime with you and to have like people listening, you know?
It is true. We are FaceTime friends. We are weekly friends. We're not just subscriber
not daily friends. Excuse me.
Daily is fair. Daily's fair. No, we are hourly friends at this point.
Honestly, that's kind of true. Preston and I are in like 10 different group chats together somehow.
Oh my gosh. And then I have to, whenever it's time to like send you a message, I have to be like, is it going straight to you? Is it going to this one or this one? Like,
no, wait, I really almost sent you a reel I saw the other day because it was a reel of this like, it was somebody listening to an audio message and it was like that one friend who sends it like it's an audio book and you're listening. And I almost sent it to you because that is so you. Every time you send an audio message, it's like 10 minutes long. And then you're like, all right, well, that's my life.
No, literally. I just love an audio message because I feel like you can really get my emotion behind it.
Yeah.
It's better than just a text. And also I love a podcast. So might as well just put up a mini Preston Luke podcast every now and then.
Honestly,
that's a good minute and a half long.
Might as well. I'll just have you on the podcast to share your audio message with the world, you know, with the whole world, the world. That
I was going to say, yeah.
Me and my 16 followers.
Oh my gosh, I'm done. That's so funny.
I cannot.
Anyways.
Anyway, okay. Tell everyone who you are now that we've had like the longest intro ever.
My name's Preston. Middle name Luke. My last name is actually. My last name is BB. It's BEBEE, and
I just changed that in my phone. I need you to know that 3 years later.
Megan still hasn't, and and that's okay. You know, I like to be a little bit of original. Yeah. You know, it's fine. But that's my name. I live in Missouri. I am a photographer, content creator. You know, social media educator, weird things. You know,
what are you
not? What am I do a lot of things. But yeah, that's kind of like who I am. And ask me any question you want and I'll tell you. I'm an open book, pretty much.
That is so true, honestly. I actually love that you said that because that really is like everyone's experience of you. like you can just ask you anything and it's gonna be open, you know. You're just like,
yeah, no, for sure.
Let me tell you.
No, I'll tell you. You know, people will ask me. People have asked me the most like questions that you don't ask someone like the first 5 minutes of meeting them, and I'm like, well, here it is. I'm just like, it is just me. So
and this is me, yeah.
And this is me, yeah.
You're just over there blabbing.
Oh yeah, no, anything to yap. So if I can yap it, I'm there. Yeah.
So some of you guys might know this, some of you guys don't, but me, Preston, and then Megan, who I had on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, we used to have a podcast and it was called Get Focused. Rest in peace.
This is the Get Focused podcast. We're three creative. Aww. I don't even know.
Collaborate, educate, and
encourage
to something to step outside the box. I don't remember. We had a great intro though.
We did have a good intro. Yeah, until it died. Until we were too busy in 3 different time zones.
Parted ways.
We parted ways. But our group chat stays the same.
I know, honestly, our group chat pops off all the time with the audio messages. It really does.
With the audio messages. You're absolutely right. Yeah, we used to be on a podcast together.
I know. So and it's because we both love yapping.
No, yeah. And so this like fuels it. Also, this is why I have a amazing podcast mic.
Yeah, that's true.
It's meant to happen.
I know Megan definitely sold hers.
Yeah,
The
I
audio on
didn't.
hers was not it.
And we still
We
love
were
her.
laughing about it. She was like, "Wait,
Oh,
was it even on?" And I was like, I don't know.
I
Zach will
don't
fix
know.
it.
Zach will fix it. Yeah, that's true.
It's
Well,
fine.
yeah. That's so funny.
Anyway,
Oh
okay,
my gosh.
so basically you do everything creative is what you've answered so far.
Yeah, I'm just a big creative, you know? That's like basically in my
That's
name is
true.
creative. So, yeah.
Preston Creative Luke, BB.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, what else do you want to know? Or what
Well,
else should
okay.
I tell
I
people?
Yeah, I feel like you should share a little bit of like your social media journey
Okay.
and maybe even talk about like coming out of high school, beginning photography, and then
Okay.
going from there.
Alex knows my story, so she's like, maybe you
I've heard
should
it like a
talk about
million
this.
times.
No, really, no, she really has because she's been at all the places that I've spoke about it. So okay, so let's do a short story long or long story short. We'll see what happens. But graduated high school in 2016. I am 26 right now. I am a Gen Z, and let's see here. I graduated in 2016, and I immediately picked up a camera like my senior year of high school. I've always been a creative person, and so I'm like, let's do this. My dad was like really pushing for me to be like the football athlete, and that was my brother, and I was like, that's not for me. So we pivoted, we tried a couple different things, and we
Wait,
picked up a
pause.
camera.
Let's tell everybody that like first of all, we have so much in common, but also
Yes,
both of our brothers play football.
both of our brothers play football, and both of our brothers played college like D1 football.
Yeah. And weren't they both in Big 10?
Yeah,
Is your brother? Yeah, which is just like crazy.
I
But
mean,
so Payne's now in the NFL, which means maybe that's the next step.
maybe
Anyway,
that's the
okay.
next step. Yeah.
Okay, continue on
Um,
your story though.
No, yeah, you're good. So I picked up a camera in my senior year of high school, kind of like as a it was a graduation gift, and I basically the reason I got my camera was because I had dabbled in some creative and like photo shoot stuff and videography, and I was like, this would be fun to keep trying and maybe even like help pay for college a little bit.
Hmm.
And so I did that. I used it to help pay for college. You know, I started taking pictures of my friends, and everyone was like, these are so good. I'm like, no, they're not. They're just good looking people. I
Works
wasn't really
out.
that good. It worked out. No, yeah, it works out to take pictures of good looking humans. So anyway, so that worked out. And so I, had grown this business a couple years. It took me a while of shooting my friends' siblings, people I knew in high school, taking photos, their graduating senior photos, and little jobs here and there until that took about 2 years after graduating. And by 16, 17, so 2018, I was 20. Ended up going full time. I dropped out of college, and so I was 20 years old. Dropped out of college, went full time into photography,
Crazy.
and rolled with it. And since then, we had grown lots and lots of senior pictures taken. And there was a number, and I've said the number a bunch of times, but it's in the 600s of high school senior photos I've taken
That's
over the
crazy.
last couple since 2016, which is
Wait,
insane.
let me ask you a question that I don't think I've asked you before. How did you get into like your niche of seniors?
It's because I that's what I started at because I was
Sure.
that age group. So
Okay.
it was so I was, in the high school senior, like I graduated a high school senior, and then
Yeah.
the juniors that were going in to be a senior, I was like, let me do your senior photos, blah blah, blah, I'll do them for free.
Smart.
And so um that's
And
what
then
I
it
did.
turned
And
into
then
600.
it turned into so many and so overwhelming, lots of trial and error, lots of tears, lots of sweat, lots of things. Um and so I did that, and as I did that, and the upcoming years, I had gained a small social media following. I believe I hit like 10K in 2018. Actually, I know it was 2018 because it was right after I got out of a relationship. So
It was like the mile marker.
it was because I remember my ex. She said, "Oh, and by the way, congrats on hitting 10K like a month after we." I was like, "Thank you for sliding back in." Anyways,
Wait, did you
so
break up with her or did she break up with you?
I broke up with her.
Mm,
Yeah,
yikes. Okay, keep going.
yeah.
I
Anyways,
just wanted to know the
uh,
tea.
So I hit 10K in like 2018, and then between 2018 and 20, what year are we in right now? 24. So 2018 to 2023, which is a long, that's 4 years, right?
Yeah, yeah,
5 years. Anyways, a
yeah.
long time. Between 2018 and 2023, I had only grown from 10K to like 18K,
Mhm.
which is like and like it's 8,000 total,
Yeah.
which is like cool. And so like that's where I was at. And then out of nowhere, I decided to start posting reels consistently. Not very like it was not very long. And last September, it's not even been a year yet. Last
Crazy.
September, I had started, yeah, I started being consistent last September, and the last week of September 2023, less than a year ago, I hit 100K. So I went from I went from 20K to 100K in like 4 days.
It was
And I was
insane.
like, it really was insane. At first I was like, who hacked my account? And then I had a
Someone bought you
video.
followers.
No, literally, I was like, well, I guess my account's going to be shut down now because there's so much like activity going on. And then the video that was going crazy, it hit like 6 million views. And then I was like, oh, I hit 100K. Like that was really cool, but like it's over. Like I was talking
Mhm.
like that is like that was like the high point. Like I'm like that
Mhm.
was like that's it. Well, little did I know that every month until for the next 5 months, every month I would hit the next 100K milestone, which
So
is
insane.
absolutely insane. So I think by January I hit 500K, and then February I like kind of fell off because I was like, I am posting too much. It is a lot of work. I fell
Mhm.
off a little bit of like just not posting and being consistent, and that reflected.
February was when you came and visited here, though, and we took your 600K photos here.
We did. We took my 600K photos, and I don't think I ended up posting them till the end of March, which
Yeah,
is still a great, like, I mean, that's still great growth track,
right.
1000%. But just from what I had been going from, it been a little bit different. And
Yeah,
so I hit 600 in March, and then I think I hit 7 in June. So it's like a little slower, but also I know that one, it's not normal to grow 100K a month. Like that is not ideal, but that is just crazy that it did happen.
yeah,
And also, like, we're in the middle of summer. Like people are just busy. Like I know
yeah.
exactly how
People
it
are going to
works
the
now.
beach. They're
Yeah,
sleeping
people
on the
are at
beach.
the beach. They're sleeping. They are just caked up by the ocean. And so that's kind of how that happened. So basically, long story short, I went from 20,000 ish, a little under 20,000 to 725,000 in under a year on
That's
Instagram,
insane.
and is absolutely insane. Since then, I have signed with Adobe, I've signed with Nikon, I've signed with SanDisk and Aftershoot, all great companies, and it's honestly completely changed my life. My life has Alex has been front row seat of watching how my life has
Yeah,
changed, and it's been quite amazing.
yeah,
I have gone from exclusively booking clients and photo shoots all the time to now not really booking many clients at all and strictly booking brand partnerships and
yeah,
working with brands and promoting brands, the brands that I trust, and photographer education. So
yeah. To clarify, though, what's cool about that is that while Preston might not be taking as many clients right now, and he's really like, pushed the brakes on that and he's taking a lot of brands, he hasn't stopped shooting. So, what's really
right.
unique about it is he's shifted to where kind of like when you were going into photography, how it's like just for fun,
Yeah.
like now you
Yeah.
get to do it just for fun, which is just a cool
Exactly.
like shift.
It really is cool, yeah, because I mean, so let's just be honest here. Like you start photography and it's just for fun, and then it turns into
Hmm.
a job. And
That's
then so
right.
when it turns into a job, it's like, whoo, like, you book. And I think my last year, which would have been the 2022 to 23 school year, I had done like 119 seniors,
Ugh,
and like that was insane. And
yeah,
that really like that does a number on you. And so that right there, like I will be honest, like it was a job, and it was
yeah,
like not, it was like I have a shoot tonight. Oh my gosh, which I
yeah,
still loved what I did, but it's just like it's a lot of work. But now it's turned into exactly what Alex just said. I get to like plan photo shoots with fun outfits, and I get to find my models and my friends that are not models, but like I'm like gonna make you the model for the day
yeah.
and different things, and really get to like scheme and like have fun with it. And it's fun to
not
have
plan, scheme.
No, scheme. Yeah, for sure. I love to scheme. I love a surprise. I love to scheme, all the things. And so yeah, so that's kind of how it turned into. So less of like client interaction of like, all right, we're gonna wear this for senior photos. It's like, what kind of photo shoot can we do? What like how are we gonna do this, and like different things. And that's been a lot of fun. But it's nice because it seems like, what is this photo shoot for? But also I've noticed that it's been able to show and stretch a lot of photographers all across the world, not even America, photographers all across the world that are like, I want to try this. I want to do something like this. And every time I post something creative, all the time I get story mentions, and I'll look through my story mentions, and it's like people that will post this to their story and they're like, any models available, or anyone available that want to do something just like this, or I'll get tagged in a post where it's like, the inspo for this was Preston Luke's blah 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 shoot, and they'll be posting like their own take on what I've done. And I'm like, that's so cool. Yeah, it's really, really cool.
So let me ask you this before we kind of get into like more of the meat of the episode with a ton of questions. You were talking about how like you kind of felt more stagnant in your work before moving into the season you're in now, where you get to do things just for fun. If you could go back and maybe shift some of that, like maybe give advice to the photographer who is more in the stagnant place and they're just like day in, day out working, but they don't have 100K coming in,
for sure,
new followers every month. What would you go back and do differently?
Make sure you are priced competitively. Make sure you're priced competitively where you're not draining yourself and you're not having to shoot. I saw someone, and I think we both follow the same photographer, but they posted that they had like 36 photos, 36 sessions to edit, like are in their log. And I was like,
talking about,
I was like, I could not imagine, like that literally like makes my stomach drop to my butt, because
me too. I have 6 sessions right now to edit, and I'm like stressed because I have 6.
No, for sure. So like, one, make sure you have a competitive pricing, and make sure you price yourself where you're not going to burn yourself out. So you can like shoot, I think a good amount is like 3 times a week, have 3 or 4 sessions a week where you're not having to shoot every single day or multiple times a day. So competitive pricing. Make sure you are subscribed to Aftershoot to help you cull through your photos. That's a huge one. And then just make sure you're being consistent with posting like to your ideal client. So trying to reach that ideal client.
Yeah, that's good.
Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And I totally agree with all of those things. And yeah, I know Preston is sponsored by Aftershoot, so he has to say that. But at the same time, I'm not. I am not paid at all by Aftershoot, but I think people think I am because I talk about it so much. I've gotten DMs. One of our friends, like on social media and stuff, her name is Cam. She's been messaging me like all these questions about Aftershoot, and I respond to them because I'm like, I love Aftershoot. But
I mean, to be fair, I'm 100% sponsored by Aftershoot, but I'm sponsored on TikTok and Instagram. I'm not sponsored on this podcast. So for me to come say it on a podcast, it means something.
Yeah,
so
that is true. Maybe we'll get Aftershoot to sponsor this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. We'll make a call. We have some connections.
We'll make a call. Yeah. Veronica, if you're listening to this.
Veronica,
anyway.
yeah. That's so funny.
Anyway, cool. Well, let me dive into some of the questions that I had like prepped for you and stuff, and we'll kind of go from there. But if I have other questions based on what you say, we'll see where it takes us. It's just a little adventure,
I'm on my. I don't want anyone watching to like be like, oh my gosh, he's on his phone. But like, I'm reading our notes. Our sticky grippies. I gave all of my workshop attendees these, and it's so funny because I'll like see everyone that has this, and all you hear is this.
Yep.
And it's
Me
just
and Megan did that on her episode too. They're like,
that is so funny. It just rips off. I'm like, sorry.
At church on Sunday. Okay, listen. On church on Sunday, Zach wasn't there. So I'm like leading the day. Okay. And I kept having to like text people to do things. and every time. Yes, but it was like during the message. So it's so quiet. And I was like, just like,
oh my gosh.
And I'm like, nobody look at
me. Okay. So real quick before we ask the question, if you are not watching this right now, so it's a suction cup that goes on the back of your phone, and it helps, be able to stick to windows and mirrors for like content and stuff. I am so mad I missed the opportunity, which I will be doing this at the next club content, but everyone got one. So everyone had them on their phones. I should have
Yeah.
done a video with them all on like one
Oh,
door
yeah.
and then
No,
like
that would have
pull it.
been
Like
cool.
I like that
Yeah.
would have been so funny
Yeah,
and
that
like
would have
just
been
it
cool.
would. So I'm doing
One
that in
thing
the
about
next
it though
one.
is it definitely leaves a mark everywhere you go. So that is one thing.
Everywhere.
There's just like whole marks that are on
Oh,
the
absolutely.
mirror or
No.
window or whatever. It's all
Yeah.
over my bathroom mirror because I
Oh,
stick it up
same.
to like watch a YouTube video or something.
When I
And
get
it's just
ready, same.
me
I'm
too.
watching TikTok when I'm getting dressed and brushing my teeth.
That is so funny.
That is so funny.
Brushing your teeth.
No,
Please just make it
literally.
a video next time.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. That's so
Anyway,
funny.
okay, let me go through the questions. So,
Let's do it.
okay, you kind of already answered as far as like how you got into seniors, but one thing that I think is like really unique about you is your brand in general. Like you have branded yourself really well. So, how do you
Thank
feel
you.
like you're welcome? How do you feel like you discovered your unique style and brand within photography and then within like the social media world? And how did you like shape it to be who you are now? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So before I answer that question, can you give me like a couple words that you would describe my brand as?
Ooh, a quiz.
A quiz. Just like how like as an outsider looking in, how would you
Yeah.
describe my brand?
Well, it's hilarious because we are so similar. So it's like,
It's true.
so like it's me without the beach, you know?
Literally.
So the way that
It's
I
you with a
describe
it's a little
and
it's you with it's like we're the same, but like you're Disney Channel and I'm MTV.
100% yes.
It's
And
so
you're a
funny.
guy and curly hair. Like that's
Right.
it.
And that's it. Yeah. No, it's
And
that's
No,
fair.
honestly, that is like 100% the best description for it. I feel like our personalities are very similar, so it lends that way. But
Yeah.
like, you're energetic, you're bubbly, you're
Yeah.
encouraging. Big smile would be one. Big,
Yeah.
vibrant, poppy colors. Very similar, like I said, to how I describe my brand, but I have the
Right.
coastal theme too
Yeah.
going on.
For sure.
But
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very similar. But then you have the edge of also like working out, you know, and
Yes,
that like all
yes.
of your weight loss journey and stuff like that. You can talk
Yeah.
about that too if you want.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that kind of adds to it too. But anyway.
Love it. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that was great. Will you just briefly ask me that question again so I don't skip anything that you
Yes.
specifically said?
I think I maybe asked it in a different way than I wrote it down. So sorry if it comes out different. But how
That's
did
okay.
you discover your unique style and brand in photography? And that how did that shape and in social media? And then how did that shape like your brand?
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like it's really hard because so I think I just want to make sure that my personality comes across. And I know that's really important whenever you're growing on social media and stuff, that people really value authenticity and they value like knowing the person. So I just wanted to make sure that like I came like Preston came across on all factors. And so that plays a role because we've talked about this so many times, but like I am very, bright and energetic and bubbly, but also I have a little bit of that like, that just like slight mystery of like I hate this word, but it's the only word I can think of like the intimidation. So it's like, so it's like my photos come across that way where they're very bold, they're very bright,
Yeah.
but also they have that like
There's a
edginess to
slight,
it.
yeah,
Edginess.
there's a slight mood,
Mood.
edginess. It's
Yes.
it's your contrast, like it's your blacks,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, it's my blacks.
That's where
I have
like
very
our
deep
presets
blacks.
are different, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You lean blue and I lean towards like the deep blacks. So yeah, and so I think I think my style right now really represents me. And
Yeah.
so I love that. I love a good mix of showing good personality, but also I love to be mysterious. I love to drop Easter eggs in. I love to keep
Mr.
people
Taylor
guessing.
Swift.
No, literally. I love to keep people guessing on what's coming and what's going on. And I love to
Yeah.
tease and all that stuff. Hopefully
You
that
know
helps
something?
answer some of it.
No, totally. And I think that's actually a really cool little thing that you just dropped as far as like the Easter eggs and like the teasing your audience and stuff. Something that I think is a unique thing that I've been able to see just because at this point, how long have we known each other? How long have we known each other?
3 years? No.
That's what I was going to say, but I don't think it has been actually. We met
It's
August
been
2022.
2.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been like 10.
It's been like, I feel like it's been like 10. Yeah, it's been 2
and
years,
how have
which
I
is
seen
crazy.
you like so many times
So
in person
much.
too? You know,
Yeah,
it's
we've
not
seen each
even
other a
just,
lot.
Like, that is like crazy.
That is
Anyway,
crazy. Yeah.
anyway, something that I've seen from the beginning with you of like since knowing you, since like the day I met you, is you love those things. That's not something that's just like come about since you've had, almost a million followers. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
like I know, right? Since day one, though, of knowing you, like you've loved the surprise. So it's cool because
Yeah,
that hasn't just like changed. You've just done that and stayed consistent in that. But
yeah.
that kind of
No,
goes into
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, yeah, I definitely have stayed consistent in that, and I have like I've heard this said a couple times, but also I've now been saying this a couple times. One, it's so embarrassing posting on social media until it's not. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing, but also like whether you are 2,000 followers or 2 million followers, it's fun to just like post like you're a celebrity and just post with that confidence because
That is your brand.
yeah. No, literally. So it's like
Celebrity.
even no, literally even whenever I didn't wasn't even at 10K, I still did the same exact strategies and techniques that I'm doing now, just at a
Mm-hmm.
smaller scale maybe.
Yeah. No, and that's so true. I can attest to that. And I've
Yeah.
definitely seen that in you, which is cool. But the being consistent thing, like, kind of goes right into my next question. And let me set this question up before I ask it. Um,
Okay.
Authenticity online is obviously so important. And I think that
Yeah.
that's something that, like, the world really craves. But at the same time, you have to like brand yourself well and not be authentic all the time to your emotions. Like there are
Yeah.
days where we have good days and we have bad days because we're human, right? So my
Yeah.
question is, how do you stay consistent online while also keeping your brand authentic?
That is so I feel like that's hard.
It is a hard question.
So yeah, it's a hard, I love a hard question. I love a deep cut. So um so I just know like I want my brand to reflect me, and like I am authentically, that bright, bubbly person.
Hmm.
So like I post how do I explain this? I post how I'm usually whenever I post, like you're like in real time, you're experiencing like how I'm feeling or like my mood. So if maybe you're getting something that's like a little bit more edgy or something like that, maybe you're like, what is going on with Preston this week? Or you can just kind of tell by how I post, I feel like. I think for me, I feel like that's so hard. I think for me, I just tried to make sure that I stay as real as possible.
Hmm.
Like it's really important for that, but like I'll like on my good days, I'll go and like do videos on my stories
Yeah.
and stuff. But even on my days that I'm like not having maybe the best day, I'll still show up, but in a different way. Maybe like through
Hmm.
photos or
That's a
like
good way to think about it.
or music. I'm very if you see me post about music and stuff, like you can read into that because it usually is something to read into, whether it's a good song or a bad song or not. Anyway, and like that, or just like
Presence over
I
there
think
curled
that's
up in a fetal position,
in a fetal position, and I'm in a fetal position with a blanket over my head. But
listening to Taylor.
anyways, listen, anything. But anyway, hopefully that kind of helps. I feel like that was a really hard question,
It
and
is a hard
sometimes I'm
question.
not good with hard questions.
Okay, let me ask it in a different way.
Okay.
How do you show your personality without oversharing?
How do I show my personality without oversharing? Um, I sometimes feel like I do overshare. I think
Really?
it's a yeah.
I don't
Do you not
think
think I do?
so. No,
Oh, okay.
not
Because
online.
not
Maybe in
online.
person when
She
you
said
blab
in
on
our group
accident.
chat. I think it's also the mentality I'm in right now because I am realizing how much things have changed for me. So like
Mhm.
instead of the audience that I had a year, it's not even been a year. The audience I had a year ago is so different than what I had now. So let's
Sure.
put it in perspective for everyone that's like listening. Like a year ago, right now, a good day, a really, really successful story day, my stories were hitting like 1,000 views. Okay. The most I have seen recently is 95,000 views on my stories. Yeah,
Excuse me
yeah, yeah,
while
yeah.
I just.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, no, literally. So it's like a whole different, like, that's how many, like, that is so many eyes.
Yeah,
So I feel like I am just
the pressure.
making sure, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like really processing everything now. And
Mm.
so I think it's important. Like, I don't want people to get sick and tired of me. So in the beginning or before, I was like less mindful, but now I'm just mindful and like who's watching, and
Yeah.
also not only who's watching, but like there are brands that sponsor me. They are
Sure.
representatives that follow me and all that stuff from all these brands. So they are watching to make sure I'm not doing anything that's like too much or whatever. So I'm just
Right.
very
Because you
I guess I'm just
represent their brand
I
in a way.
represent their
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I went to Utah earlier this summer with Nikon, and there was a huge creators camp, and their top partnerships lady that was there, we were chit chatting at lunch one day, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I stalk you guys all the time." She was like, "I read your comments, all the things." I'm like, like
Great.
great, like thank you, Stephanie.
That is
um,
pressure.
yeah, it is pressure, and I'm saying, and so that's why like I if she does it, I know because that is their job. So like
Mm-hmm,
their job is
mm-hmm.
to watch us. So I know that there's so many eyes all across the board. So just have to be mindful of like
Yeah.
who's watching and what do they want to see and what is too much. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
and
yeah,
I think there's like a way to be authentic as far as like who you are without leaning into like maybe the bad day or the emotion of a moment too. Because I do think
yeah,
like what you said for your story is like so good to think about. Like 95,000 is crazy, you
is
know?
insane. That's more people that live in the town. Like, well, I guess my small town. I guess kind of. That's about how many people live in my city, which is
That
insane.
is wild. That's
Yeah,
so wild. But like thinking about it in that way is such a good thing. I've said this on another podcast episode where I was just saying, like, if you have 1,000 followers, that's amazing. Imagine a
yeah.
thousand people sitting in front of you. You know, like
No,
we'd all be
literally.
choking up, you know, like
No,
it'd
literally.
be so crazy to talk in front of 1,000 people. And, you know,
Yeah,
then you get 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000, you know, and as you work your way up, like that's just a wild amount of people that you
yeah.
have, you know, a follower base with. And so those people, if they are like seeing your story, maybe choosing to share things or to not share things based on like thinking, would I share this with 95,000 people in front of me? You know, would I share this? Because sometimes like it's just our phones
Yeah,
that we see
exactly.
and we don't see all the people behind it. But I
Yeah,
love that you brought up how like
right.
brands see you. Because something that I feel like I've
Yeah,
seen a lot within our industry is people posting and it, whether it's intentional or not, like our reels can make the client look bad, if
mhm.
that makes sense.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
you
Yeah,
know,
for
it's like
sure.
pointed to the client or something,
Yeah,
and maybe it's trying to serve like an educational to the client purpose. But something
mhm.
I try to do a lot, and maybe this is my quote unquote Disney Channel brand, but I only try to make fun of myself. So like
Yeah,
if I'm making fun of something on a reel, it's not going to be making fun of my client because
yeah,
clients see that. So there's
for
there's
sure.
one time, one instance that I can think of doing that. And it's where one of my poor seniors fell as she was running into the
Uh-huh.
ocean. And it was too funny to not post. And I got her permission first and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
So it was
yeah.
like totally fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
And it was fine. But here's what I'll say: the next 2 weeks of seniors, I've had to really like work them up into running into the ocean because they're all
Mhm.
afraid of falling. And
Mm.
they don't know that I got permission from this girl to post it. And
Right.
they don't want to look stupid on the internet, you
Yeah.
know? So like
That's
my
fair.
clients
Yeah.
saw that. And then that was like kind of a repercussion of it. And I, you know, tell them every time and all the things.
For sure.
But like,
Yeah.
we just have to remember, yes, for Preston, brands are watching that, you know. Well, maybe you're not
Yeah.
in Preston's shoes, but like your clients are watching. So
Yeah,
like that's just
exactly.
an important
Well,
thing
I
to
mean,
remember.
yeah, I mean, we're talking about our target audience, and like you're like that is like like my job is working with brands right now. That's my
Mhm.
kind of in a way my target audience in a way,
Mhm.
and so like that is your target audience that you're
Right.
leaning towards.
Right.
Um, and also just like anyone like I've noticed this, which is just kind of cool, and I feel like I don't even think I've told you about this yet. But whenever I say like brands are watching, they are always watching, but it's not necessarily you're like don't look for Adobe Photoshop to be looking at your story.
Mhm.
They all have representatives, consultants, everything that have their own personal pages that
Yeah.
watch you.
Yeah.
So whenever I post an Adobe video or I post a video about after shoot, my reps are the ones that are liking and they comment on the videos, but it's never, well, I mean, it is sometimes by the brand account, but it's the reps that work for them that will be commenting
Yeah.
sometimes. So like there's a bigger picture
Yeah.
to
That
a
is true.
brand.
That
So
is
I
so
think
true.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I work with less brands as like an influencer, and I work with a lot of brands as a photographer,
A
but I would
photographer.
say yeah, but I would say it's very very similar to what you're saying. Like I have
Yeah.
a lot of the brands that I work with, like the larger brands, they
Yeah.
won't follow me, but the people that
Yeah.
are on their teams do, and that's how
Yes.
they end up finding me to hire me.
Exactly. Yes. It's usually the people that work for the brands somewhere down the line find you,
Mhm.
and then that's
Mhm.
how you can score with working with that
Right.
brand. It's
Yeah,
not
cuz
necessarily
it's like
tagging.
the
Yeah.
inside connection, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
good.
that's
Yeah,
so
that's
good.
so true.
Cool. Okay, so one thing on social media, you are the celebrity of social media. That's the the MTV branding.
It's so
But like
funny.
one of the things I know about you is like you love a good trend. You're going to hop on the
I
trend,
love a
you know.
trend. I love
But
a
how do
trend.
you I know. But how do you like stay current with like trending things but also stay true and consistent to your brand online?
hmm Um, so like for instance, this is really good. This is a really good example because I just posted about it today. But Chaperone is like huge right now. Like
Wait,
she is.
okay, okay, okay. I'm going to out myself.
You had
I
to
saw
look it up who
I didn't
Chaperone
even.
was.
I still have no idea who she is. But I saw it and I was like, oh, that's a cute name. She must be a celebrity.
That is so funny. So Chaperone is massive right now. She's kind of blown up out of nowhere. She's
Okay, I'm
actually
gonna look her up.
from like Missouri, like an hour away from where I live in a really small town. And you know, she doesn't always have the best like values, I would say, or maybe she sometimes does things a little crazy,
Hmm.
but she's super popular and
Whoa, she
has
looks
been.
crazy.
Yeah, her thing is like she dresses up crazy. Like in every single, I say crazy. It's just very different.
Yeah,
And so like her thing is that she like has very like wild and outgoing outfits every single performance she
yeah, it's
has.
so cool.
Yeah, and so it's very just like it's very like camp. And so I was like, how can I kind of do this? So this dress that
Yeah,
this girl was wearing in the photos I posted today looks like something either she would wear or looks like it kind of like gives us the vibe of one of her songs that's called Pink Pony Club.
okay, I'm
And
gonna go listen
so
to it. I won't listen to it right now,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. So I was like, okay, so that's a cool. I don't really like want to dive too deep into Chaperone, but like this is good for like
yeah,
trending. Like she's like if someone sees that name, it's very like wait, what? Because
yeah,
it's very trending. I did the same thing with Sabrina Carpenter like a month and a half ago.
yeah. I
That's the
remember
post
that.
that launched me into 700K because it got a couple million
Yeah,
views, and it was just a cute little dress that Sabrina Carpenter would wear, and the model looks. She's blonde hair. That's about it, but she could like look resemble her.
you
And
said
so
that's
like
about it.
that's about it, but I still was like Sabrina Carpenter photo shoot, blah blah
Yeah,
blah. So like that's kind of like me doing the trends, but also staying like I'm still
that's
doing
cool.
like my typical photo shoot. I'm still like doing it how I would do it and how I would execute it, but just kind of like a little taste or touch of
Yeah.
something. I
Okay.
also we've talked about Taylor Swift 100 times, but I just did one that was like Midnight's photo shoot, and it just felt very much like the Eras tour
Yeah.
with like my own like but it was still my style, it was still my vibe, it was still how I would do it all, how I'd execute it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how
That's
I'm like
cool.
keeping up with the trends. I like to
But it's
doom
like your
scroll.
own. I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's my own. Yeah. But how I keep
Something
up with them is I just like keep scrolling on TikTok forever, and I'm just like
okay.
getting constant ideas.
I think something that's cool just to note about this is that Preston, he's not jumping on trends that somebody else has created. He's jumping on a trend that is like an American trend or a cultural trend. Like,
Like a
so the
pop culture
chapel,
trend.
yeah, the chapel girl, whatever. Chapel
Yeah.
Roan. Like
Chaperone.
that's something that is more than just like a little niche audio or
Yeah,
a little niche like photography trend. This is something that
for
like
sure.
more people can relate to. And the videos that I've had do well and like the best videos that I've posted have been they've been like posing videos most of the time, but they're
Yeah.
for seniors and for photographers to be able to look at,
Yes.
because it's like the seniors want to watch it to feel prepared for a session, you know, or to like
Yeah.
get inspo for whatever. But then the photographers want to watch it to get like posing inspo. So it pulls from two audience. So what
Yeah.
Preston's doing really well is pulling from something that a wide audience can be interested in,
Yeah.
not just photographers.
Yeah. So for instance, I'm reaching towards for that last photo shoot I just talked about, that was chaperone, I'm reaching towards, photographers that are interested in watching how to learn and pose,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe models that want to learn maybe more, or like people that want to break out into modeling. And then
Yeah.
you have the whole pop culture scene that are like, know exactly who chaperone is, or I've
Yeah.
heard of her, and are like, what do you mean by chaperone photo shoot? That
Yeah.
pulls them. And so that's just grasping onto it
Then you get
quite
me. Who is this girl?
exactly. Yeah. So
That's
yeah.
funny. Okay, so next question. Obviously, you grew so quickly, like practically overnight. It was
Yeah.
insane. How do you have you faced imposter syndrome with that? And if so, how did you overcome it, or how do you daily overcome it?
Oh my goodness. I feel like I do weekly face imposter syndrome, just because, like, it did happen overnight. So it's like, is this real? And is this something that's actually going to be here for long term, or am I an overnight trend? So like, I'm like, how do I pivot on that? Like
Mhm.
I feel like every week I think about that, and I'm like, how can, oh gosh, I just spilled my coffee. It's fine though. You just put that up there. There we go. Anyways,
Do you
um,
do you need to wipe it up?
oh no, it's good. No,
Okay,
it was
okay,
just a
okay,
little bit.
okay.
It was just a little bit. I just felt it warm on my hand. It's just a little bit on my hand, but it's fine.
Yeah, we're good. Just
Anyways,
lick it off.
so that would be insane. Um, so what was I saying? Um, where was I at? I was really about to go somewhere. Okay,
Wait,
so every single week I think about, I'm like how, because it's like a continuous thing of where I'm at right now,
yeah.
of like, okay, well, I've got to stay relevant, I've got to keep posting,
Mm,
and I've got to do this. And so I actually went through a small little phase this a couple weeks ago, where I was going through some things, and so I didn't post for a couple days. It had been like a week, and I was like, oh, I really need to get something out. And it's very true that if you're not being consistent, and then you just
mhm,
pop up out of nowhere, it's
mhm.
going to take some time, whether it takes a week or 3 weeks, to kind of get back in. So I
Yeah.
posted again, and I was like, oh, this video's not doing very well. And then I went immediately into my head, and I was like, am I over? Am I canceled? Am I gone? Like, is this the end? And so like, that's what I was going in. And I even texted my friend Cassidy, and I was like, my video has blah 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 blah. She was like, it's doing terrible. And I was like, I think I'm over with. And she was like, you're delusional.
I
And I
cannot. She's
was
like,
like,
sit down.
no, literally, that's exactly what she said. Like, her little response was like, "You are delusional," and I was like, "Okay, I
I
know,
love
but like,
Cassidy because she
still,
just like says it how it is,
no,
just
she does.
always.
She's no, yeah, she just says it how it is. But so yeah, I think it's just, I feel like I'm still learning how to overcome imposter syndrome, but
Hmm.
maybe just like look back at your receipts, look back at like what's
Hmm.
happening or what's going on. Like, let's put it into perspective of the photographer.
Yeah.
Like, look at your clients that you're having, look at your booked calendar, look at your reviews, and just like see where you are. Like, just, I don't know, reflect.
Yeah. Get a pulse on things. That's really good.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, how do you, this one's more because you are so large now, because you're working with these brands that are obviously paying you to create content. How do you
Yeah.
balance like monetization and being sponsored and that kind of stuff while also staying true to your brand and yourself? Hard
Yeah, that
question.
is
Sorry.
that no, that is really hard, but I can talk about it because I'm literally living that right now. Like, I have 3 brands that are all wanting videos out by the end of this month, which is like cool and fine, but
Hmm.
like, that's a lot of sponsored content
Yeah.
in the next, I don't know, how long do we have until September? Not
Like
very
half a
long.
month. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like in like 2.5 weeks. That's a lot of, like, that's pushing a lot of sponsored content. So I need to be cautious and should strategic on how I push that out.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's been interesting. And sometimes like, you'll have a like working. So here's the deal: working with brands, and my, like, as a creator, content creator, is the best thing, but also kind of the worst thing, in a good way and a bad way. So like, I won't name the brand, but I'll just kind of tell you like an example. They are like, we want you to do this video
Hmm.
and blah 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 blah. Here's your concept, and then so what they do is they send you a PDF form, a Google Doc form, and they want you to write out your entire concept. They want you to write out how you're going to do your video, your talking points, maybe a link to an example of a video, and then any other notes you have. And so you send that to them, and they'll approve it to record, or here's what we want changed. well, I did this for a brand and they were like approved, and I was going to record the next day. That same day I was going to record, they were like, go ahead and pause recording. We want to change your concept completely.
Good, good,
And so
good.
I was like, yeah. So I had to completely find a brand new concept, and then have to completely pivot to a whole other like scenario.
Yeah.
And so you just have to be able to pivot quickly. And then so I recorded the video, and then I wanted to be able to post this video with the photo shoot that I was posting. So I was holding on to this behind the scenes photo shoot so I could also post with this brand. And so I'm like, they're like holding off like when they're gonna, it took them forever to approve the video, and I'm like, I need to figure out. And then they're like, oh, we want you to post it tomorrow. I'm like, tomorrow? I haven't even posted behind the scenes yet. And so it's just like one of those things. So
Yeah.
you have to, yeah, so it's kind of like just really trying to be as like lots of communication to make sure you are you're posting as as it works with your channels.
Right.
And it's interesting because I've been doing this for we've talked for not too long, so I'm trying to find the best strategy still that works.
Yeah, that's something
So
that's
yeah.
like such a unique thing. I think so many people, we would love to just blow up overnight in the way that Preston has. But at the same time, I think like kind of shining a light on the fact that like you said, I've had a front row seat to it, and not everything is rainbow and butterflies. It's also
Yeah, not at
very
all.
hard. And I'm going to expose you right now, but
You can expose me.
Preston came to visit back in like February. And, at that point you had, what did we say, like 500,000 probably. And
Yeah.
again, that felt like overnight. And
Yeah.
Preston had 200 inquiries.
Yeah.
And not
Oh my
all of them,
goodness.
like, to clarify, like, not all of them were like ready to book inquiries. Some of them were like, and my budget's $65, but like
Right.
Preston had them like sitting in his like honey book. And I'm like, okay, we need to sit down. I need to help you with
Literally.
this.
Yeah.
Because
I was like, please help me.
because Preston is like such a creative, and his brain is like not in the organization. I'm like, let's get in the weeds of it. I need to help you with this.
Yeah.
But like what I'm saying though is like, it's hard too, because then you have to like catch up organizationally. You have to catch up with like how to work with brands strategically.
Right.
Like these are
Yes.
major big companies that are working with
Yeah.
Preston. And what an awesome blessing that he has this, and like he gets to steward this really, really well. And it's amazing. But at the same time, like those companies, okay, I'm going to say this not to scare you, Preston, like, but those companies could eat you alive if they wanted to,
For sure. Yeah.
like
no,
they
for
have
sure
lawyers and stuff,
Yo, literally.
And so like there's a lot to learn, and just to like, it's also like slow growth is beauty. There's beauty in slow growth too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
for
like,
sure.
It happened overnight for you, and that's amazing. And like, I think it's cool. I've said this to you before, but like, man, God can trust you with that, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm also like, I'm probably not going to blow up overnight, and I'm semi thankful for it because I want to learn my stuff. Yeah.
No, for sure. It's been a lot. But it's been a lot. It's been really rewarding. It's been interesting because so the elephant in the room here, let's just talk about it. Everyone thinks you blow up overnight. They're like, how rich are you? And I'm like, here's the deal.
I've been in rooms where people have really asked Preston that, and I'm like elbowing them, like, what are you doing?
No, literally, we were in the same room and someone asked me that, and I'm just like, how do you answer that in a group of 30 people? Like, yeah. So like it takes brands, if you blow up, cool, but like brands want to see you like be consistent. They want to see how professional you are. They want to watch you. They want to see all the things you're doing. So like I hit 100K, and like the day after, I have so many people that are like, who's trying to reach out to you? Who's wanting to book a brand deal with you? I'm like, no one. And at first I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, first of all, why is no one wanting to like no one's emailing me. So like, this is great. And so I was like, what am I doing wrong? But I wasn't doing anything wrong. It just happened so fast that like these brands are like, who is this person?
Yeah.
And they had they were just like, he came out of nowhere. So
they
have to build that relationship.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that happened in September. It wasn't until December, the very early of December, that Nikon reached out, and they were the first brand that reached out. And which is crazy that they were the first brand to reach out, because it's
also you've been
massive.
Nikon since day one. So
I have been Nikon since day one. And so, well, let me just, I can say this in a second, but and so yeah, Nikon was the very first brand that reached out, which is crazy. And so and even at that, they weren't paying me immediately to like, they were just like, let's send you stuff, which is awesome. But it has taken time, and it has not been
Yeah.
until the next calendar year of 2024, even like the middle of the year, until quarter two, that I was really like, oh, people
Yeah.
are actually wanting to work together now. So it took, several months. It took 9-10 months
Yeah.
before it really started to kick in.
Yeah.
But speaking of Nikon, I have been with Nikon forever, and I just signed with them last week, and they want me to be, I'm like the new Gen Z face of Nikon is what they're calling it.
100%.
So there's so much coming, and I'm so excited. I'm going to New York and going to the headquarters, and lots of
I'm so
fun
excited
content
for
happening.
you.
I'm really excited
Guys,
for
I
all of
told
it.
Preston I want to walk into a Best Buy and see Preston on a video. Like, you know how they have those like those big like pillar things with like videos on them
That
in
would
Best
be
Buys? Yeah.
insane. That would be hilarious, though. I would just be like, what's going on? Like,
That would
why is
be
this here?
wild.
That would be
But
Best
also
Buy,
like totally
Target.
attainable, you know?
No, I mean, yeah, for sure. Like,
At the
no,
point you're at, which is
100%.
crazy. Okay. My last question before we head into our like kind of outro section. What is your
Hmm.
top advice for photographers who are building their own brand and trying to grow on social media?
Okay, so my top advice for photographers right now that are trying to grow, build their brand, I'm gonna say one, okay, you need to find your niche. So figure out like what are we like really passionate about. I was really
Hmm.
passionate about portraiture, so high school seniors felt so natural because I was able to really just like personalize every session.
Yeah.
So figure out your niche, and really just like drill down that niche, like own it. And so do that, be consistent with what you're doing. So maybe being consistent with online, because let's be honest, social media is our marketing tool, and so it's very important to talk about. So be consistent online, and whether your consistency is posting 3 times a week or posting 5 times a week,
Hmm.
find your consistency and find what's going to work for you, and be consistent, because you will never grow if you are not consistent. If you pop
Yeah.
in and post 3 times a week and then you're gone for 8 days and then post one more time, nothing's happening to you, and you can't complain whenever it's not happening or whenever
Yeah.
things aren't reaching people, because you're not trying. So you need to be consistent. I know it's hard. I know it is hard sometimes, because even whenever I get out of my routine, so I like to post 3 to 5 times a week, and so Monday through Friday. And so whenever I get out of my routine and I don't post for 4 days, I'm like dying. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I gotta get this video out, and it's like feels like such a hassle to me. But whenever I'm in the routine, it just feels normal. So
That
you
is
just
true.
need to get into your routine. Yeah, and then just make really good personal connections. Find because Why I say social media is a great tool, but if you're not maybe worldwide or global,
Yeah.
you're working in a small town, word of mouth connections are so important.
So good. Yeah.
um so like, especially like, for instance, if you're not in Charleston, South Carolina, and you're in maybe um Kansas City, Missouri, you're in the middle of America. There's not a lot of people traveling to Kansas City like they
Yeah.
do for Charleston for vacations. So like Alex, she's able to book people that are coming in to vacation,
Yeah. The
and
tourists.
and tourists. So that's a great avenue for her. But maybe you're not reaching people because they're not coming to travel to your
Hmm.
location. So find the schools that are in your area, and start liking those seniors photos in a non-creepy way, be very transparent, all the things,
Yeah.
and just like grow your clientele.
Yeah. That's really good. And I think one thing to note about like word of mouth is if you are not yourself online, like if your brand is something that you are not and you're in a small town, people will, I mean, in general, whether you're not in a small town, but people are going to be able to sniff it out really easily.
Yeah,
So, like, it's
for
so
sure.
important to create your brand around yourself and around your personality. And it doesn't even have to be like, I would say, be cautious of not creating it around your life stage, but more around like who you are as a person, the
Yeah.
things about you that are not going to change, like things in your personality that you've been designed this way, you've lived this way your whole life, like
Yeah.
those sorts of things. Because when you do them on things that are like more shakable or unstable, then those things go away and your brand has to completely rebuild, completely change. But then also too, like if you do them, like if you're just trying to be somebody that you're not, when people meet you, word of mouth, they're going to connect with you, and then they won't connect with your photos. They won't connect with you on social media because you're trying to be someone you're not, you know? So
Absolutely.
I just think that's important too, to kind of say. Okay. Something I've been doing is any guests that I have, I ask them a question from my last guest. And this one's fun because my last guest was Megan, the third part to our trio. So, okay, here was her question, and I want you to answer it. What is something that you're currently struggling with, and what advice would you give to someone going through the same thing?
Okay.
Deep.
So it is deep. And if we're going to ask a deep question, I'm going to give you a deep answer. And before I answer this question, I promise you I'm okay. I'm doing good. I swear. But so, okay, something that I've been like struggling with recently, I feel like this is a good thing to say right now because of like the topic of this entire episode. Just been like, we've talked, I've had so many eyes on me, so many people, trying to get to me, so many, like, it feels like I have so many people on my side or over here, but on that other side, like, that's all online. So in like my personal life, I feel like I've been like struggling with like almost like a sense of like loneliness because, which is so weird. But just like, because I feel like online it's so like, what's the word? It's so, I don't want to say draining because that's not what I'm trying to say. It's like online, it's like everyone's wanting more from you and expecting more from you.
Yeah.
And so once you put that away and you like stop worrying about online and it's no longer there, it's kind of like, okay, well, where's everyone at? Or like, where are all my friends? Or like why, like I'm just like, it's just kind of something that feel like I've been struggling with.
Yeah.
And so I just,
Do you kind
making
of
sure
feel like people just don't understand, like people in daily life don't understand the pressure that you're going through? Is that kind of where it's
yeah,
at?
well, I definitely think that is an issue. And also like, especially like what we've been talking about and like my like entire journey is crazy, but like especially where I live, it's insane. Like that does not like, and if you live in like LA or you're in Miami or like Dallas or something, like a big city, like it's not crazy that you'll have someone. Where I live, it's crazy. Like right where I live, no one at all. There's no one close to how I'm like what's going on. So I feel like people are very much just like, what? And like it's just, and people don't understand. And like, yeah, so like for instance, people all the time are like, I'll see people in public that I've known for a while, or maybe they've seen me online and they're like, so like, are you still doing the photo shoot thing? Are you still like taking pictures? And I'm like, it's my career. Like, yeah.
That's
And
what
it's
I
just like, I don't know.
do.
It's kind of like what I do. And they're like, how's that working out for you? Or like people from high school. I've literally heard this a couple times this year. Like, how's photography working out for you? And I'm like, well, it's just like
Really
interesting.
well,
It's
actually.
it's always with a backhanded, like it's like always a backhanded question. So anyways, I just feel like I've really had to, be comfortable with like loving myself,
Yeah.
which is super important. And then valuing my really close friends that are, because okay, pause. Valuing my really close friends that are here where I live, because I have a very large, I feel like a large group of friends, but they all live across America.
Yeah.
Like Alex is one of my best friends, I would say. We live so far away.
Yeah.
Megan is one of my best friends. We live so far away. I have friends all
It
across
sucks.
America. And so it does suck because I'm like, sometimes I just want to be like, Alex, let's go to Culver's. Let's
Not
go.
Culver's. You know I love Culver's.
I know. I was like, where's somewhere Alex loves? Let's go get McDonald's fries.
Oh.
And so
Speaking my
anyways,
language.
so that's hard for me.
Yeah, it is hard.
But it's also been really nice though in the position I'm in. I'm like, Alex, what are you doing in 6 weeks? Can I just come fly out to you for a couple days? So that's been nice. But yeah, so just like really like making sure that I am being intentional with loving myself and my connections and my friends that I have here. Really just making sure that like I value them, and I like all the time I'm like, I like truly am just so grateful and thankful for you.
I think that's so good. I think like people might not understand our jobs, but if
Yeah,
they get to know us as people and understand us as people, even when they don't
yeah,
understand our jobs, like those are the people that are going to truly last long in our lives, and they're going to be able to speak
absolutely.
into us as people, not just as entrepreneurs and not just
Yeah,
as creatives. Those are the people that are going to help us like and call us up in life and with our relationship with Jesus, and one
yeah,
day, Preston, in your marriage, like that's
yeah,
like Yeah. And obviously we can have one and the same with that. But like you were saying, like we are, best friends, and Zach too. But like,
yeah,
at the same time, we don't see you day in and day out, you know?
yeah, yeah,
I
literally.
wish we did.
Which I think it's funny because some people think that a lot of like we all live really close because someone commented. So Cassidy Lynn, she posted a DIY series on her page right now,
and it was the same day that you posted your studio series.
It was this. I know she texted me and she's like, "LOL, I'm posting my DIY series today," and I'm like, "That's so funny." Well, in her video, she's like, "I'm gotta do blah 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 blah," and she was like, I'm going to try to do it all by myself, but if I need help, I'm going to call Mustache Man in. And someone literally tagged me and said, wait, is Preston Luke Mustache Man?
No
I was
way.
like, I literally replied and I was like, no, that would be her husband, Charlie.
Yeah, hold on.
Hold on. We don't even live close to each other. I thought that was just so funny. But
no, that's actually so funny. I don't think I told you this, but it was Cassidy and I had a similar moment too, where she posted about her changing tent on like a Monday. And as soon as I saw it, I texted her and I was like, not me already having it, like a post about my changing tent to go tomorrow. I was like, why are we all the same?
We are all the same, but we do tell each other what's going on, but like no one knew. Like I had no idea Cassidy was posting that.
I know.
And it just happens.
It's so funny. Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah.
Well, that was great. So your advice to somebody going through the same thing, dig into where you are and
it's just like self-reflect on yourself. Yeah, really just like, yeah.
I was like, trust the process. What did you say?
It's like both, like self-reflect and just like, you need to grow comfortable and like, you need to be okay with like, accept yourself and like loving yourself, because before you can like love others, you need to be able to love yourself.
Yeah.
So like good. That, and then just like making sure like the relationship that you have in person, like you are valuing them. You're making sure that like you're just really like thankful for that.
Yeah. Yeah, something else too, like you just said this and it kind of made me think about it, but like loving yourself before loving others. I also think like learning how to be self-sufficient before like expecting to receive love from others. Like obviously we all need love in our lives, right? That's not what I'm saying. But like don't get validation only from others, because that's something that's unstable too. Like you've got to figure out how to do that in your own heart.
Exactly. And and I feel like our jobs, especially, I don't know if it's as much as you, but my job for sure is almost reliant on like validation from others. Like no one's commented on this video all day. It's terrible. Like just like that. So for sure. And you just got to know that like sometimes like algorithms don't work, or sometimes it just doesn't get pushed out to the right people, and you got to know that like you're confident in what you just posted and that it's good, like whether someone comments or not.
Yeah. And ultimately, like, yes, that's part of our job, but our job doesn't define who we are as a person. So like even if we do have a really sucky video where everyone hates on it, you know, like we've both had that, where we post a video and people just hate on it and then we send each other screenshots of it.
But literally.
But that doesn't define our worth and our validation. And like for Preston and I too, both of us follow Jesus. And so like for us, that's like we get our validation from him, and then he fuels like the rest of our lives. But if you don't follow Jesus, you need to learn how to, you know, kind of find that in yourself too, and like find like, you know, this is where I find my worth. And it can't be in people's opinions, because people's opinions kind of suck sometimes, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but not every opinion is right. Anyway. Okay.
That's so funny.
Preston, that was a great answer. What question should I ask my next guest?
Okay, my next question's not that deep, but also like I feel like that just fits me. Like I'm not that deep when it comes to everything.
Yeah.
But
like
I want to no, well, that's funny, but I feel like because we're in, let's see here, it's August, like we still have summer, but like we're kind of like back into like the routine of like getting back to like the swing of things for like the fall semester. So I want to know like your next guest. I want to know their high for the summer and then their low for the summer.
Oh, I'm typing it if anybody can hear that.
You're good. I love a high and low. So in our small group, we do that quite often, and I'm just Preston, like, okay, everyone go around
pause. And I talk about my small group like it's nobody's business on our podcast. And someone messaged me this week that she joined a small group at her church because of the podcast. I was like,
I love that.
That's awesome.
I love that. Well, in my small group,
I didn't bring it up.
we do that.
You brought it up. Sorry,
I brought it
just
up.
clipped if somebody heard that. I just like screamed in someone's ear. Continue.
I didn't notice. It was fine. But yeah, in my small group, we always do that. Like we'll be sitting around and I'm like, okay, everyone say your high for the week and then your low for the week. Actually, I don't know if we always do low. Maybe in our smaller groups we do, but whenever it's like everyone together, we'll say our high. Because getting low could also be a little crazy.
Do you want to know my red flag?
Let's hear it.
Instead of saying highs and lows, in middle school, my small group did something else, and I've just stuck with it.
Oh,
but it's your strawberries and buttholes.
That should be illegal.
When you took a sip, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting butthole to come out of Alex, your mouth. That is crazy.
It could have been a different word, but I'm Disney Channel.
That is true. That's still wild.
So the rule is you don't have to have a butthole, but you have to have a strawberry. So it's opposite than life.
Okay. Yep.
And that sounds like a great end to our episode, guys. Okay, before we end out, Preston, tell everyone how they can find you.
Well, my address. I'm just kidding. So I don't know why.
You have stalkers outside.
Oh, I feel like I already have stalkers, but that's for another episode. Anyways, you can find me on all social media at I am Preston Luke. That's me. Look for the broccoli head looking kid.
The broccoli head. Stop it right now. Okay, I am done. We gotta go. It's been like an hour of us just yapping.
Nothing out of the ordinary. But
that
anyways,
so funny. Okay, cool. Well, guys, thanks for listening to me and I am Broccoli Head chatting.
That's crazy.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Next week, Zach is joining me, the actual best guest in the world. So I am super excited about that. We're actually recording tomorrow. And I can't wait to share it with you guys. So I hope that you come back next week, next Thursday, and I'll see you for another episode of Let's Create with Alex Blake.
Bye.
Bye.
I just want to make something